Impala Platinum next. The world's second largest producer historically. Its mines focused on the Rustenberg area and then also some on the eastern limb of the Bushveld complex, which means Steelpoort and those areas out in Mpumalanga. They've also got assets in Zimbabwe, although, I don't know, we don't talk about those that much. 22.7 billion rands worth of market cap. It's slumped. It's had a tough time under a series of good managers, I would say. Nico Muller is now the CEO. He's back. Not currently profitable, not paying dividends. Let's look at the share chart, which will reflect that runoff in value, which is a bit sad. What do you say, Wayne?
Yeah, look, Impala is more expensive per ounce than Anglo Plats. In fact, their Zimbabwe assets are the best assets. Their problem is what's called the Rustenberg lease assets, which are the ones that are probably now just at break.
Those are the traditional ones that you see when you drive to Sun City or Rustenberg, the big number 37.
They're still big output
17
as far
shaft.
they're still big output as far as Impala is concerned. Now, as we mentioned earlier on, lucky enough at the moment, those things are probably cash flow neutral to slightly positive because of Platinum's been holding its own, but it's a big increase in the palladium price. And of course, don't forget, these guys sell chrome as byproducts and a whole lot of other things as byproducts.
They also produce quite a lot of refined platinum, which they toll refine for other people out at the refinery in Springs.
I think Amplats is the biggest one, but Amplats, they're all into this toll refining. And this is one of the dilemmas they got. If they, on a mine basis, cut their high cost output, then the cost going through the refinery just goes up per ounce. So it's a fine balancing act, because the refinery, the capex sits there. You've got to have good utilization to get those costs down. But on Impala, it's the lease areas that are in fact the really expensive production. They're spending a bit of capex here to try and get it out. And as you know, I think it was last week, they said they're now starting a proper retrenchment package discussions,
which
scaling it down
is
massively
required. And of course,
there's no option.
Labour has been an issue in the past with you know, the National Union of Mine Workers and AMCU rival battles.
But I mean, I don't know how many jobs have been lost in the platinum belt in the last 5 years, but I would think it's 30, 50,000.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And now you're going to get the second lot, because although things are looking a little bit better now, I mean, Impala still had a 10 billion asset write-down. That's why you got a negative PE. It's because of a massive write-down on their asset value.
And they've warned that if things don't turn soon, they might have to shutter their Marula operations as well.
Marula is one of the problems.
Just speaking about the Zimbabwe assets for a while, because you alluded to it there momentarily, they are actually the best assets in the whole world. The only problem is they're in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, and of course you've got all of the Zimbabwe and the indigenization and who owns shareholders. But we've heard no negative news out of Zimbabwe for a long time. So maybe the Zimbabwe government said, listen, this one works, it pays taxes, it earns foreign exchange. Let's just leave it in the status quo and let the company carry on and mining it. Because that, I mean, that must be one of the biggest tax sources in Zimbabwe is their mine out there.
Unfortunately, in Zimbabwe, the sort of issues of political principle seem to take precedence over rational economic decisions.
But
and so it's difficult for investors to give any value to the Zimplats assets, which is actually crazy, because it's very high margin potentially and a very big resource.
It's a very big resource,
and
in Impala's case, the lowest cost. But when you look at the cost curve, it starts, and let's just talk platinum ounces now. Don't worry about palladium for the time being. The good mines, some of Anglo Americans' mine, the Zimbabwean mines are $500 an ounce. Remember, the price is $950 now. But then the true high quality, very profitable, is only about, call it 40% of production. The other 60% of the production, which effectively is Impala and Lonmin and some Anglo's operation, they are at the cost curve now, highly marginal.
So you have to take the call. Do you wait for the price to recover, or do you cut costs now? And it appears that Impala has conceded defeat, and they've said, we're going to downscale.
Well, Anglos did that, a couple of years ago. They did it, and Lonmin is trying their best to do it.
Well, we're going to talk about Lonmin in a minute, but before we do that, as far as Impala is concerned, too much South Africa, too much platinum, too much restructuring work to do, too much debt,
but
potentially more
they're also just waiting for the platinum price to go up.
And that would be a big fillip for them. They would move higher sharply.
Yes.
But we're going to go not hot on that one.